Hello, Darren.
Hi, Darren. How are you?
Well, I would like to say I'm very well, but of course, you know the bad mood I was in about trying to get this phone set up. So you know I'm in a furious mood. We are here to talk about Inktober.
Yay!
Can we have a little brief talk about that name?
Inktober. Yeah. Would you like me to explain it to you?
Well, no, I understand that it's the word ink and October together.
Yeah.
But what I'm saying is
is
that the word ink in no way sounds like ock. That's
Doesn't.
not a pun.
No.
And so, like, I've noticed this a little bit now that, like, the pun or the mashing up of words has become so popular.
Yeah,
that it almost doesn't mean anything. So I would. My two favourites are a flower shop up in Leighton called "The Only Way Is Flowers."
That's outrageous.
What does that mean? And there's another one I saw in Wales, which actually is also to do with ink, actually, because ink forms part of the whatever the title.
Yeah,
and it's a tattoo parlour. And it was called 50 Shades of Ink.
They don't work, do they? They don't work.
And I'm prepared to say that Inktober is not quite up there with those two, but also it's like, what? Why Inktober? Anyway, tell us what Inktober is, please.
So Inktober. The increasingly badly named Inktober is, I'm reading from their info page here. It's a month-long art challenge created by artist Jake Parker.
Sorry, Jake. It's a great idea. I'm sorry,
Jake.
I'm sorry.
I've seen Jake's YouTube videos, and some of them are quite interesting about drawing and things like that. But it's focused on improving skill and developing positive drawing habits. I'd like to know what are positive drawing habits. That's
what are negative drawing habits?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it basically every day for the month of October, we create a drawing and post it online. I'll be putting mine on the Brentwood Tuxedo Twitter account, which is just at Brentwood Tuxedo, and I'll share yours as well, Darren.
Okay, and I guess we'll put them on our own
our own accounts as well.
At Darren Hayman and at Pancho Ballard.
That's the one.
Yeah,
and so it's just a little game, really. I did wonder why it was done in October. Given that we've already decided it can't be for name reasons because it doesn't make sense. And I think
I suppose I will concede it sounds a bit better than Inktember. Inkghost.
Yeah, okay.
Inkly?
Inkrill's good.
Incruary. That is quite good. That's like inquiry, like inquiry. Incruary.
Yes. And every time you draw something, there's an inquiry going on into this subject. I've lost. What was I saying? Oh yes. So I think partly though it's in October because, quite frankly, October's a shitty month. It's just getting darker and it's raining all the time. And you've got to do something nice.
Here's something I've noticed recently.
Yeah.
I've only noticed it a couple of times. It's extremely rare. But on the Twitter, there are some people who like autumn. It's crazy. They prefer autumn to summer. And there's hardly any of them. There's not millions of them. And they don't carp on about it every single effing day of summer at all. They really don't. They don't start talking about it in June and bore the tits off everyone who's quite happy sitting in the sun, going on about, oh, can't wait for me Willie Cardi and listening to me Scott Walker. They don't do that at all. They keep themselves to themselves, and they have this secret thing which not many other people think. Everyone likes autumn. Oh, yeah, I'm a bit tetchy today, aren't I?
So that's Inktober. We're basically just drawing every day, 31 days, which you and I probably do anyway.
Well, yes.
And in fact, this is the reason I've never done it before, is because I'm already drawing. And one of the things with Inktober is,
likewise, you could say that, you know, one thing you couldn't say about either of us two is we don't do much stuff. You know, you could easily criticize us for doing too much stuff. Yeah. Likewise, there's on Facebook there's a 1 month album club. So you make an album in a month, and I'm kind of like,
right,
just what, just one.
Yeah.
What else are you going to do? Climb Everest?
So it has a series of prompts as well for each day. You can follow the prompts. You don't have to, but I think we're going to, aren't we?
Yeah.
In fact, I've decided we are.
Yeah, we are.
But this is the thing about Inktober, and I think your hands are showing it. It's a very sketchy sort of month. And what is that I see?
This is the thing. See, we've talked before on Runt with Tuxedo about my lack of, well, several things. The fact that I don't keep a sketchbook, but also that I feel something I'm envious of you about is I feel like in a way you're a proper artist because you draw purely for its own sake often, and you draw just for the sake of drawing, whereas I'm often seeking validity through selling.
Yeah.
And so when I'm doing a sketchbook, I think, well, what's the point? I can't sell it afterwards. And I know that sounds really base and terrible, but it's true. So I thought so I'm just going to lower the blind. The sun's getting a bit strong here. So I thought this would be quite a good project for me to try and lose that a little bit, to draw for fun, to be more, I don't know. But having said that, look at the bloody sketchbook I just brought. I mean, it was 15 quid.
Wow.
Shall I take this
off? Is it made of wood?
Well, this is the thing. It's not, it probably is the wrong kind of sketchbook, because this is a kind of sketchbook that I don't know whether it's going to encourage me, to be playful with. But let's see, shall we? Right.
What's the paper like?
It's like white.
Yeah, no.
Actually, it isn't actually. It's kind of slightly. I think it's got another such a subtle cream.
Does it feel?
I mean, here's is where I was just about to write down my phone number, but I realised there's a reason why I shouldn't do that in the YouTube video.
No, don't do that, Darren.
But I reckon you always leave that page blank, don't you? Just to have a little, and then
you know what I do on that page? On that page, I don't leave it blank. I always write, I never draw on this page, and then I move on.
Okay, I might.
And then I've spoiled the sketchbook already. You see, so then it doesn't matter what I do afterwards.
Yeah. I also think I say this with property, with objects. I say it with guitars. Once I've dropped a guitar and it's got a chunk out of it, I think in some ways there's kind of a relief, isn't there?
Yeah,
there's a relief in things not being new.
Yeah.
One idea I had for let me see if you like this idea.
Oh, okay.
One idea I had for Inktober would be that I would type the prompt into Google and I would make myself draw whatever the first image was.
Well, that's almost what I do, except I do pick and choose, but that could be fun. Yeah. Yeah, go for it. I think you should do that.
it's hard, isn't it, when you look at it and then you can immediately look at like the
I don't want to draw that. Yeah.
I wonder what happens if I put in Darren gargoyle. The prompt is gargoyle. Did we say that already?
The prompt is gargoyle. We hadn't said that already. Yeah.
The other thing I'm going to do is looking at the Inktober rules. He does say you can sketch it in pencil first.
Oh yes, yes. It's more drawings.
It is specifically about ink, isn't it? Anyway, well, I've decided I'm going to draw straight away in ink. I'm not going to pencil anything out.
Yeah. He prefers real ink, but I mean, deal with it, Jake. If I'm using pastels, it's hard, tough, hard shit.
We run hot and cold with Jake, don't we?
I'm going to start YouTube.
Okay, you start. I'm
with Jake. I'm waiting. I'm eager to start drawing.
Yes, okay, it's okay. It's all right. Don't worry. I'll catch you up.
Okay.
Right. Okay. I'm also thinking about limiting myself to these 2 pens.
Yeah, I'm just using a couple of pens. I'm using pencil to sketch it out, but
sort of.
My gargoyle is from Bolton Parish Church, where I live. Don't live in the church. And I've done it wrong already.
You've what already?
I've done my sketch wrong already. Need to start there.
Is yours in a new sketchbook?
No, I've got myself 2 sets of Windsor and Newton watercolor postcards.
Which is not dissimilar to what I use.
Yeah, it's what you use, isn't it? Mostly the watercolor postcards.
Yeah, mine aren't Windsor and Newton though. Mine are, or are they? Can't remember. I can't see any around me.
And I realised this morning that there were 2 packs gives you 30 postcards, so I'm only one off full October. So I thought I'd use them, and I kind of bought them and then thought, what am I doing with them? I don't know. So this is good. And funnily enough, I've kind of gone the opposite way to you, because I'm thinking each one of these drawings I can possibly offer for sale. Who knows? But let's see.
Well,
this reminds me. No, carry on.
What?
Carry on.
I can't remember what I was going to say. It's just gone.
Well, this drawing reminds me, this gargoyle I'm doing. A good few years ago, when I started getting back into art, so probably 6 or 7 years ago now, I took an online course with an artist called Mark Taro Holmes, who's was known then for urban sketching in Montreal.
Mark Tyrell Jones.
Mark Taro, Taro. Mark Taro Holmes, like tarot cards, but without the T at the end. And
working class guy, was he?
Well, I think he was. He's Canadian, so the working class name rules don't apply in other countries.
Oh, doing that. Okay.
So, but I did the course, and a lot of it was urban sketching. I went out and drew some gargoyles on our local church. And he said something when I posted them online. He said something that was brilliant to hear, yet at the same time really, really frustrating to hear. Because when he saw them, he just said, "Oh, so you do this professionally, right? Because these are great. It's your job, right?" And I'm like, no, it's not. I'd like it to be, but it's not. And it was kind of hearing that praise, but was really nice to hear. But at the same time, it's like, it's not fair. I want to do it.
That question. It's weird how that question matters to people, isn't it? I find that when you're outside drawing, and people can come up and look at what you're doing, it's a question they often ask, or a version of it.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
I think it's sort of interesting to people, whether or not you are a working artist or it's your job. So quite often you're drawing and people go, "Oh, is this what you do? Is this your living?"
Yeah.
And I'm not saying it's a bad question to ask. I just think it's interesting that it's sort of important to people, because also I think the answer for most artists would be, well, kinda.
Yeah.
I mean, that's
it's most artists. It's either kind of or no, not at all, isn't it?
Yeah.
I think people want. I think when people ask you that, I think they're hoping you're going to say yes.
Yes. Yeah. The guy who brought his little telecom van the other week was asking things like this. And I think, and once again, I'm not saying he was wrong, but I think the answer to this question was also helping him decide whether he wanted to buy off me the painting of his telecom van.
Yeah.
And I know it sounds like I'm being dismissive of that school of thought, but I do sort of understand it a bit, because, art to a lot of people, I mean, to me even, and you, I find it very hard to give art a value. I find it particularly hard to give my own art a value. I'm sure at some point we'll do a whole video on pricing and, the difficulty we have in coming to decisions about what art is worth.
Yeah.
But I think also for the person who's about to buy it, you're a professional artist, equates to also, you want your plumber to be professional, don't you?
Yeah. You ever done any of drawing challenges before? Have you set yourself any?
No, I don't think so.
I've done a few. I've never done this
one.
Are
there other sort of internet classics like Inkanuary?
There should be. There was one I did in March of 2020. Started it where you had to paint 100 people in, I think it was a month.
I think I do remember you doing that.
Yeah. And the only thing that stopped it was lockdown happened and made it quite difficult, because a lot of my drawing was done drawing people as they're walking past the office and things like that.
Yeah, I think I do remember that.
Yeah. So I had to get creative and started using videos of people walking through cities and just drawing them. And I had to draw 100 people in like 30 days, 31 days. Takes a lot of work. So a lot of the time it was drawing, say, like 20 people as small as possible on one page, so that you can tick them off. Don't have to worry about doing it.
As you know, I have had sort of different sort of disciplines and imposed rules in music more often.
Yes, you do, don't you? Yeah, you do that a lot.
And if you also look at our, what were they called? What are they called, those little short videos we did?
The lessons, homework videos.
Yeah, and we did there some sort of, which is also about rules and restrictions.
Yeah.
But no, I did. There's an album of mine called January Songs, which is a song written for every day in January.
Right.
but I also made a video as well in the same day.
Yeah. God.
Yeah, that's a moron.
Yeah, it's a lot of work.
I farmed some of it out. Some of it I got other people to make a video in the day.
Yeah.
I remember on about the second or third day someone was making this video. I said, well, I've done a rough cut. I'm just going to tidy it up tomorrow. I said, no, the rule's this. But it won't be good. It'll be better if I would work on it tomorrow. I said, I clearly laid out the rules of this. Come on, send it over. It's done.
It probably didn't need cutting anyway, did it?
Well,
most things don't need it.
I'm not saying that everything quick is good, but maybe I am.
One of the reasons I mentioned Inktober to you, and I wasn't planning on doing it. So I'm kind of glad you suggested it, actually, because one of the things I'm trying to do is look after myself a little bit more. Look after the head more than the body, to be honest. And I was inspired yesterday seeing something on Twitter about someone was posting about a lot of people get a bit anxious on a Sunday night before work on the Monday morning.
Mm-hmm. Do you?
And she was saying, well, I don't work on Mondays, so no. I love Sunday nights. And it's often drawing club.
Yeah.
But I do be the night before some days, like office days. But one thing she mentioned was that some people get this sort of feeling just on other days, nothing to do with work or anything. And she's kind of saying, and none of that was actually particularly relevant to me. But one thing she said was that it often comes in quiet moments when you're not doing anything. And you've got time to start sort of dwelling on stuff. And it kind of struck home to me that I'm often at my happiest when I'm doing something. And it's when I'm not doing anything and I find myself just sitting on my phone or something, or on Twitter, which is my phone. That's when you start getting, fed up and pissed off. So this is one good little thing, that there's a little section of the day when I've got to sit down and draw. And I don't have to think that hard about what I'm going to draw because the prompts are there. I don't have to, I know I mentioned selling these, but I don't have to think about drawing something that people might buy. Because I do, I don't focus on sales as much as you, because, it's not my job. But I do think about it. So I think this is going to be a good thing for me.
I think I've said before, and I think I will say again, because it's something I think about a lot. But when I was having a little bit of therapy for, anxiety and depression and things, my therapist telling me of a calming technique to calm you when you're anxious.
Yeah.
And it is to look at an object and to trace your eye around it. So you look at what have we got here, a tube of paint. And so you cast your eye around there, then you count how many grooves around it. And she started talking, I went, oh, like drawing, you mean?
Yeah.
And like this calming technique was drawing, but without holding a pen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was really, really struck by that and thought, okay, there's actually, other people have realized that this works.
Yeah. Yeah. It does as well. It does.
I feel like I'm done.
You're done? Did you say?
Also, yeah.
I've got lots to do.
That's all right. It's okay.
Mind you, we don't have to finish it on video, I suppose.
Well, maybe I should do what you did the other day and not stop drawing.
Yeah, you keep going till I've done.
I mean, I think what it would be is so this is a gar. Oh, here we go.
You can do it.
I was playing a show 2 nights ago. I was doing the doing the old songs, and there's one song where you get to this middle 8, and every time I've ever played it in my life, there's a real deep breath moment because it's like 8 unrepeating chords that are quite good, if I say so myself. They work really well, but they have no real logic to them.
Yeah.
And every time I get to it, I think, there's no way I'm going to do this, right? And I have this real memory of in Hefner, because it's only ever me and John, the bass player, really needed to do that. Jack was always improvising over top. He didn't need to know it in the way we did, and the drummer didn't. And then he gets that bit. I would look at him, and his face was always something like, just do something with his eyebrows, like, here we go. But also, sometimes his face would be, you can do it. And that's what you reminded me
of. Yeah, right.
I was telling the audience about this part of the song. And then someone came up to me after.
You tell them about that in case you get it wrong?
No, I told them about it after I'd got it right, actually.
Right. Okay.
But afterwards, I was talking, and a lad came over, and he said he'd covered that song. And
right.
And he's saying, yeah, I know what you mean. Why did you write so many chords in that one bit? I was like, well, it sounds good, but yeah. I've definitely thought about not doing that bit sometimes. What's kind of interesting about this is this it's kind of a cross-hatching.
Yeah.
When I was about 15 or 16, that's how I drew all the time.
Yeah.
I really, really loved cross-hatching, and like I was be drawing comics and stuff, and I would draw the way I've done here, line, and then the way I would sort of do shading, some cross-hatching. And I was thinking about Inktober, and I was thinking about ink, and just that word ink, and it makes me think of comic artists and how
absolutely
they do stuff. And and so I'm sort of, I shouldn't plan it too much, but I'm sort of hopeful of this having a slightly comic book. And the reason why I had this Sharpie, although it hasn't really happened in this, but I quite like the idea of some definite blacks in them.
Yeah, yeah.
I went to see Marillion last night.
Ah, yes. I remember you saying you were going watching them. Was it good?
It was good. It was with my friend Andy, who often seems to make a little cameo in these conversations.
He does, yeah.
The story so far is that Andy is my friend from when I was a baby. And like most people who you've been friends for that long, there's been years where we've seen a lot of each other, and then, a few years where we've not seen each other at all.
Yeah.
But we got very close again during lockdown via WhatsApp and voice notes. But we both love music, but we don't really like any of the same music.
That's right.
And so we would sort of, offer things up to each other and listen to it for a bit and then talk about it, because, we were at home all the time, weren't we?
Yep.
And he decided that lockdown was the perfect time to work really hard on someone to get them into Marillion. I mean, not just Marillion. I mean, I did like Marillion a bit when I was young, and I quite liked like a lot of romantic young men had a real thing for Misplaced Childhood album,
right?
And this, you know, this epic album of unrequited love.
Yeah.
But then, lost track a little bit after Fish left, and they have this replacement, Steve Hogarth, who, you know, much like, I mean, you know, I think the Stranglers are another band like this. You know, Marillion have been together 4 times longer with Steve Hogarth, and you know, sold 5 times as many records and all this. But yet, of course, for most people, they will always be the band we're fishing, you know?
Yeah.
And Andy, who, I mean, I think Marillion are his most favourite band ever.
Right.
We were talking about it last night, and he said, and I said, I'm interested to see if you can think of this. He thought that they might be the most unfashionable band ever. Like and they're his favourite band, but he thinks that the band that has the most sort of uphill challenge in terms of critical reception are Marillion. And I think he might have a point.
I think, yeah.
I'm trying to think of a band who, you know, are just massive, but just almost critically ignored. And to anyone that doesn't like them, I mean, just something about the name sort of invites a scoff, doesn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
And I mean, they have been working their asses off the whole time, whilst all of us thought they didn't exist. They just do, you know, an album every other year, massive tours, and they just plug away. Real troopers.
I used to like Script for a Jester's Tear.
You see, that makes sense, actually, for some reason. I don't know why.
Not heard it in years. Maybe I'll listen to it this week, next week.
But yeah, no, they are good. The new guy who's in his 60s and has been in the band, you know, 30 years or something. He's great. He's fantastic.
He is good. Yeah.
He sings amazingly. But he has a really, really good manner about him on stage. He looks really, really chuffed to be in Marillion. Like it's his first day at work still. And
like he still can't believe he's joined them.
Yeah. And yet he's very, very good at poking fun at what they are. He has a good way of sort of taking the piss out of Marillion and their fans in a way that doesn't offend anyone, but he seems very, very aware of the absurdity of a prog rock band. Yeah. He's also, I mean, I think Andy pointed out his wife in the audience, so he's I presume heterosexual, but he bloody isn't. He's gay as a window on stage. He's like, that's the other thing. Yeah, he really minces about and everything, and it's great. That's also really great, because that's, you know, for what is a conceptual progressive rock band, you know, the audience is very, very male. The music is not entirely male, but quite male, and he just puts this slant on it all the time by, you know, he waltzes and pirouettes and does little dances and stuff. It's great.
That's good.
Yeah.
Now I've finished.
You just said that and I saw something else to do.
That's all right. Okay. Carry on.
So I think what our plan is then is we're going to do a drawing for Inktober every day, but we're not going to do a video every day, right? That's too much.
That's too much.
So maybe we'll do
Do you reckon we can do one a week? Maybe one a week?
Yeah.
Oh,
And just,
definitely.
I think it might be quite a good short video just to say, let's see what we did on each day, and we'll just catch up, every 9 or 10 or whatever. And they could be quite short videos. But I also thought we could do is we could have a look around ourselves on the hashtags.
Yeah.
And see if we can find other artists we like that have done good ones. I don't know of anyone. Actually, I know one person who I only met last week who's doing it.
Right.
I don't particularly know any other people I know personally who are doing it. Do you?
I don't, no, but I've not looked yet. Maybe it turns out that I will know some people. Yeah. So right. So I'm going to look forward to doing
Do you sign pictures when you're in
this.
your sketchbook? Do you sign them?
No. It's up to you though. It's your sketchbook. No rules.
Well, okay. Bye-bye, Darren.
Bye, Darren.